Hi, and welcome back to Art Laughs with me, Verity Babs. Today I spoke to Andrea Hubert.
Hi, my name is Andrea Hubert. I'm a comedian and writer, and I'm here today to talk about art, which I don't know anything about.
It's a great piece that you've picked, though.
Thank you so much. Well, it's one of my favourites. But you don't want to be real basic when you don't know about anything. You don't want your favourite to be like super basic, but at the same time, you're only going to know stuff that's out there. You're not going to know any weird stuff if you're not really a connoisseur.
That's like when people ask you what your favourite footballer is, and you're like, David Beckham.
Well, basically, yeah. Like, I was worried I would David Beckham the art world.
And you picked Kane by Henry Vidal. And, have you seen this? Where did you first come across this?
Look, the thing is, right, I was going to sort of say, yeah, I've seen it in real life. I definitely have probably walked by it because I've been to Paris and I think that's where it is. But I don't remember discovering it there. I discovered it, like all great art, on the internet. And I love it so much because it's a serious piece. Like that's of Kane. It's literally just when he's killed his brother. And he's like, oh God, what have I done? And like, it's basically now a meme for facepalm. And I just think that's hilarious. It's my favourite thing in the world. Plus there's a bit of penis as well. And you can't go wrong with that when it's art. You know what I mean?
It's like begging to be one of those caption contests you see on Instagram.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I'm sure it was the first caption contest. Like, people were then walking past just going, wonder what he's saying, like, definitely.
Yeah,
like,
that's a thing.
He's so upset about. He looks so sad.
That's the thing. We seem to assume that no one, like, before 1950s had a sense of humour, but 100% people were walking past this in kind of Victorian France, like.
Yeah, but instead of like take a selfie, it's like do a quick sketch of me, or like make up a limerick about me, I don't know.
Remember this.
Why am I Russian in Paris? Like, why? but yeah, I'm sure that people used it for fun before it became this internet meme, and I really like it. And also I think maybe I'm kind of feminist that enjoys seeing men in distress. I think maybe that's who I am, because there's a little bit of like, oh, I bet I could sort it out for you. I'm not going to, though, because that you wouldn't learn the lesson.
When you see it, and when you see it from the kind of the most photographed angle it's got on the internet, it is that kind of like, oh, I can't believe I overslept for work thing, rather than I can't believe I just murdered my brother in the woods.
He doesn't look annoyed enough to have just killed his brother.
That's the thing of like, I'm sure that the artist was like, okay, remorse. He's upset. He sort of regrets what he's done, but he looks like he regrets what he's done in that he's just, I don't know, ordered loads of takeaway and eaten it too fast and regrets that rather than having committed murder.
Exactly. It's like anything but murder, that look.
It's Hangover. That's Hangover.
Yeah, it's full Hangover. It's anything but murder. It's especially not murder of brother, or fratricide, if you will. Yeah, it's especially not that. It's a real casual piece. I love it. I think it's really funny. And I don't know much about art. I recently had do you mind if I go off on a tangent?
Please do.
Having a conversation with some friends on Zoom, and one of us was just like, yeah, I collect art. I've been doing it for years. And we were like, I'm sorry, what? We felt so betrayed. We didn't know we could do that, or that we could got to an age where that was like something we could do. And she like starts showing us this piece that she's bought in some gallery that's like worth so much more than when she bought it, which was a lot of money anyway. And it's just feeling of betrayal became this, like, we were all just like, I feel so betrayed. She's like, why? And we're like, I don't know. I didn't realize we'd got to that stage. And you just went and did it without us. It was really weird. It was a really weird moment because we all had the same reaction. And then they're like asking for the art dealer's number. And I'm like, well, I obviously can't afford the art dealer's number, but I'm just going to sit here and be indignant as hell anyway. Friends who've bought art? You probably do. I don't. I didn't know.
Yeah, that's the thing of working in. So I work I work in the art world.
Oh yeah, I literally have no idea. I don't know who anyone is.
So I work in the art industry, so I know a lot of people who spend a lot of money on art. I'm quite lucky in that, like, most of the pieces behind me, I'd say, were sent to me as thank yous for artists who couldn't pay me to like do some like admin for them, but send me a print. I wouldn't view myself as like an art collector because all of these pieces are kind of under 50 quid, but this idea of art collection is something that one does when you definitely own a wine rack and you definitely like you go on foreign holidays pretty regularly. I feel like there are certain stages that build
I
up to
think
the
I
idea
was
of
a
you being an art
classier kid
collector.
than I was an adult. Like I
Mm.
did that stuff when I was a child. I could definitely fully say at school, well, I've got a wine rack, and I've got, and I've got, because my parents had those things and I was part of the household. I don't now. Like, no, definitely regressed.
Yeah, I think the thing with wine racks is buying wine not for the immediate occasion to drink it, but wine for later.
Wine for Jesus Christ, is that a bit that you do? Because that's very good. If
I'll,
it isn't,
I'll
wine
write
for
it
later.
in. Wine for
That's
later.
really good. Yeah, I have been known to buy wine for later. Not that much later. You know what I mean? Like,
And I think wine racks are for much later.
Yeah, it's not for that much. I haven't been saving this wine for longer than a couple of weeks, but like even that's pushing it.
As a household, we've discovered box wine, and we've converted to box wine, which
That's a hard no from me. That is, I don't really drink that much, to be perfectly honest.
we were a hard no. But when you get your first box of wine,
I'm not a snob about boxings of wine. I like, that's absolutely fine, the box wine. It's more just that, but wine shouldn't come in a tap like that you can just have whenever you like that. I mean, when I say shouldn't, it shouldn't for me. Like that just doesn't seem like a good idea.
yeah, I feel like wine from a tap is not that far away from wine from a drip.
Like I once saw this girl who was a friend of mine. Like she had the inside of a box of wine on stage with her, but like just the bag, and she just kept sipping from it. Like, and it was really hilarious. But it was also like she was doing it within the context of a breakup. So like it definitely holds this sadness for me. A box of wine. I don't know, just a real sadness that I can't drink from a box of wine.
I think.
I mean, I will.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'm just getting philosophical about it now because
I think the thing with the box of wine is that the box of wine isn't inherently depressing, but I've like been advertised on like Wish and things like that on Facebook, those handbags you can get that have a hole for the spout for your box of wine, and that's when it gets depressing.
I'm listening. That sounds amazing. That sounds absolutely amazing. I like when you go camping and you have those like camel pack things that you can drink from. I love that shit. I would totally have one of those of wine. But again, that's too much wine. That's wine on tap. That's too much.
Yeah,
wine.
like those hats with the straw coming down, which always you can use them once. How do you clean that?
I don't know. I've got a hat face though, so I'm willing to try it.
See, the thing is, I think I can do hats, but I just don't. I have a lot of hats that I don't ever wear because I feel like when I'm inside and I put the hat on, I'm like, this is a look. But as soon as I go outside, I'm like, I don't want people to see me wearing a hat. I don't know what it is. I want to wear the hat indoors as part of an indoor outfit.
It's because you don't want people to think, who the hell does she think she is wearing a hat?
I think it's that. I think it's that.
For me, it's just like, I put the hat on, I'm like, I'm so happy in this hat. As soon as I get out the door, I'm like, oh my God, my brain goes mental. It's like, how dare you think you can wear a hat outside? What are you? Who are you, the queen? You're not the queen. Like, how dare you? Well, I have to take the hat off and it all goes to hell. It's a shame, man, because I do look good in them. But I just, I can't get past the idea that somehow wearing a hat is too flouncy for me, that I haven't got the right to be thinking that I'm so good I get to wear a hat. Is that insane? That is insane.
That sculpture of Kane is him coming back out of the house after he's gone back in the house to take the hat off. I can't believe I thought that I could wear a hat outdoors.
Can I just say, I really truly believe that is the only thing it will ever represent for me from now on, is this sculpture. It's just like, what was I thinking putting a hat on? How dare I? That's the only pain for me now that Kane has. So I like the fact that you haven't prodded me into like actually discussing the sort of artistry of the statue, like, and how lifelike it is, because I haven't seen humans in ages. I've got no idea.
That's the nice thing, yeah.
I mean, I don't really know anyway.
Like, the most fun ones of these are the ones where most of the conversation is entirely unrelated, and then at some point I go, so this sculpture, right?
You drew it in so well, though, at the end there. We've never gigged together. Why have we never gigged together?
We're riffing.
We're having a great time. I'm just tired because I'm working. I'm, just sort of back to day job at the moment. Mm-hmm. And it's day job where I do get to sit around, but I do have to use my brain, and I resent using my brain, even though it works fine. It just feels like I'm, you know, when you're like, I really want the juice, but I cannot be asked to get out the juicer and use the juicer and clean the juicer and dry the juicer only to get it out the next day. Like, I bought a juicer once from Gumtree, and I thought I was going to be like this juicing person for life, and it turns out that it's just too much hassle. And I sort of feel the same way about making my brain work in a particular way. But I'm doing it.
Yeah, buying a juicer is one of those purchases that you feel like is going to change your whole personality. It has to become all about this. It's like when you buy a dog and you're like, my life is going to have to change around this dog.
I always try and get like a bargain. So like I will go and look for, like, I'm quite good at finding really good stuff at really cheap prices if you're prepared to go. So I go to South London to pick up this juicer that this Australian girl, she's just going home, right? It wasn't before the pandemic, it was way before that. And she's selling this like really expensive juicer for £17. I was like, great, I'll take it. Took the juicer, juiced for about like a month. And then, you know, that was 5 years ago. I refused to throw it out. And I never use it, like, ever. But maybe if I had spent £1,000 on a juicer, it would have been the best £1,000 of my life, because it would have changed my life, because it would have to at that price.
But that's like gym subscriptions. It's like, I know I'm paying £20 a month, so I really ought to go. But
no. If you were paying £1,000,
yeah, that is different, isn't it?
If you up those stakes, you then have to say, that is such a good price for what I've got out of this. Would I still go, no, I just lose the grand? The point is that my brain is like a juicer. It's very runny right now.
Andrea, thank you so much for talking to me today. Where is the best place that we can follow you and keep up with what you're doing?
I guess I've really been souring on social media recently. It's truly horrifying, but I guess Twitter. It's at Shut Up Andrea. Because, you know, why not? And yeah, I mean, I recently did a thing for Next Up with David Baddiel. It was like a sort of Jewish panel thing. That was fun. I think that's something you can still rent. Other than that, I'm just working on projects. I have nothing to plug right now, but I'm working really hard on stuff. Now I feel like I'm trying to tell my mother that everything's going to be okay. Like, I am working really hard. I've got several things in the pipeline. Like, just leave me alone, all of you. Well, what kind of a plug was that? Was that a plug?
That was a plug. I loved it.
Very overworked here.
Thanks so much for watching. You can follow Andrea in the ways written below. You can follow me at VerityBabsArt on Instagram. And you can also please give us a like and a subscribe, etc. I'll see you next time.